Welcome and thank you for tuning in to the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, an initiative by ET Edge, powered by Kyndryl. I am Ashwani Mishra, bringing to you conversations with business leaders as they share their personal and professional journey over the years. Joining me today is a very special guest. In 2016, she was recognized as the 16th most powerful woman in Asia and the fourth in India by Forbes magazine. With a clear focus on customer centricity and innovation, she has transformed homegrown textiles company Wellspun into a force to reckon with globally. While her entry into the corporate world was met with skepticism, she has proved all naysayers wrong. A graduate in psychology and a Harvard alumnus, it is my privilege to welcome Deepali Goenka, CEO and Joint Managing Director of Wellspun India, on this episode. Welcome, Deepali, on Cutting Chai Stories.
Thank you. Thank you so much. A pleasure to be here indeed.
Thank you for taking out time from a busy schedule. You were born in Jaipur and studied at Maharani Gayatri Devi Girls' School. Can you quickly walk us through your childhood, your schooling, and lessons learned early on in life which have stayed with you till date? Who was your early source of inspiration, Deepali?
My early source of inspiration until today has been my mother. And, my Jaipur and my beautiful childhood at MGD has been just something which is one of the most beautiful times that I had there.
Right.
The whole beauty, being an ICSE school, the whole Rajasthan culture, along with the opportunity to meet all the global leaders. We had all the global leaders come and visit us, and we had an opportunity to meet them, interact with them, was something really very, very inspiring. The opportunity not just to study,
Right.
but to learn tie and dye, batik in the art cottage, doing horse riding, or doing all the athletics, or swimming, or singing, classical dancing, all was under one roof. And I think
True.
that just happened in MGD at a school. And my childhood memories and my discipline comes in from my mother. Um, I remember we were three siblings, and my mother used to take up our lessons. And she herself is so well educated, and she really spent a lot of time with us. Our reading habits and discipline, I think, just comes in from there. So definitely, it has gone a long way with me, for sure.
Right. From Pink City to Maximum City, Deepali, you relocated to Mumbai in the late 1980s, I believe. How was this transition, from the cultural piece as well?
So, coming from Jaipur, where I was brought up with so many people around me, I could not even, cook without five people being around me, so that they could
Okay.
help me. So, coming here to Bombay, where I was just on my own, and there was a standing joke in our family that she didn't know how to cross the road because I was all of 18. and
Right.
or light my own cooking gas. So that's the joke that everybody still talks about, and is something everybody still remembers. But I think coming from there to journey at Bombay, I think, and Mumbai now, I think Mumbai is a city which teaches you a lot. It
True.
embraces
Yes.
it embraces you. And I think if you embrace the city, you learn a lot. And I think for me, where from a homemaker, where I have now when I had two daughters, sending them to school, finding my way out there, to where I am today, has been an interesting journey, because I think at every step, Mumbai has taught me a lot.
A lot. Right. Well, you broached the topic of being a homemaker, Deepali. In fact, you when you decided to enter the corporate world back in 2002, you became an entrepreneur with a new business line called Spaces. Now, was your passion initially mistaken for a hobby by many people, and did it upset you?
So yes, it did. And 2003, when I launched Spaces, and I didn't know anything, and I tell my daughters that today also. I tell my daughters, you've had all the opportunity to go to the best universities in the world. I didn't have that. I got married. Um, and uh, and I mean, you know that I did Harvard in 1986 as a OPM, where 2000 sorry in 2006, sorry, 1986, where I'm going back to my memories. Um, so definitely that time when I got on Spaces, it was something where I was definitely told that you're lucky that you can spend time at your husband's office and do this, and that is something that really somewhere just irked me a lot. Uh,
Right.
that journey began from there, where from launching Spaces in 2003-4 to launching Wellhome, which is not there anymore, where we had 200 stores, to getting onto the textile industry. It has been where I definitely was taken on as the chairman's wife. I was taken on as that, okay, it's a pastime. Let's see how long will she last and survive here. But I guess every step was very interesting. Every step I learned a lot, because for me, हारना नहीं सीखा मैंने कभी भी, actually.
Right.
So and I've never give up. अगर अगर नहीं हो सकता तो कैसे नहीं हो सकता है?
Precisely. Right.
There's
Right.
opportunity for everything. How is it not an opportunity? And I think that's what I worked on.
The secret recipe for success, again, Dipali, is our own creation, like you rightly said, one that is self-manufactured and for our own consumption only. The circumstances in our lives are uniquely different from anyone else, and there is no one size fits all formula. What have been your ingredients of success? Yes, you did share one of them, that you never give up.
When I joined textiles in 2010, I didn't know anything about textiles. And I had all the experts and veterans running, that whole system. And there were talks about, is Welspun really serious about what they have taken on? I mean, it seems that they don't want to really grow this business at all. I was really intimidated myself, but wo intimidation maybe I had taken that challenge, and I just thought, hey, wait a minute. Everybody in this industry is a man, while the other side is a woman.
Right.
Secondly, what I get on the table is emotional quotient. And, everybody has the intelligence, but that whole sensitivity towards the consumer, sensitivity towards the outward insight
Outward. True.
is very, very important. And I think that can make all the difference. And that's where my journey began. I said, here I bring the difference, and I will work on my strengths, I learn what I have to, because that's very important. That's something I definitely did, being on the floors, completely hands-on, but I will play on my strengths.
So sorry. So balancing emotional and the intellectual quotient was extremely critical. And yes, as you rightly said, I was reading about you, and you were on the shop floor learning about the business, purchasing cotton, understanding manufacturing processes, to conversing with distributors and retailers, and that really helped you a lot over time.
Yeah, it did, and a lot of learning. The learning comes from not just your leaders, it comes in from the shop floor and your people, your blue collar associates, your managers. So getting your ear to the ground was very important. And when I came on the floor, we just had 7% women. And today we have around 30% women. Just proud to say that, that is something that can really bring such a lot of difference.
Absolutely.
And make an impact, because it's not just about saying diversity, but that diversity really brings a lot of impact on your business, on your communities, and also the country, for sure. Because you can say that if 50% women, 50% of the population gets empowered, imagine the power of it.
With the ongoing digital transformation across sectors and the current crisis that we are all facing, the relevance of effective mentorship has also elevated. What does mentorship mean to you, and what are some of the valuable lessons that you can share around mentorship?
So I think fundamentally, COVID changed everything for us, for everybody. And the fact of leading from the front for the leaders, the fact of empathy being more important than anything else became very, very prominent.
True. Yes.
And I think that's where and motivating people. I think the leadership positioning really changed. So because while we were working virtually, I think that motivation, the connectivity with your people and your teams, celebrating people, motivating them about with small victories and small milestones became very, very important. I think that's where the leadership changed. So for me and for at Wellspun, I'll just give you a small example. So you talked about mentorship, but I'll just give you an example about leadership and on totality. Digitization became imminent, like how we're working today. I mean, MS Teams was the only way forward for us. But along with that, I think, with the whole global acceleration of e-commerce, 35% acceleration, we had to move fast. What did we do there? To upskill our people, our leadership teams, our managers, who were actually the product and category experts, to technology, digitization, e-commerce. I think that was very, very important. Industry 4.0 became a very prominent way of looking at things, because that's where you're looking at connected supply chains. For us in textiles, that is very, very important.
Very crucial, yes.
So upskilling, our people there. And also the whole thing is, if you want to become the change, be the change, you have to see that change happen. You want to lead it from the front is so important, because if technology and digitization had to happen, you had to lead it. I mean, we created a Wave Academy where our people are being trained for technology and upskilling. And I'll tell you the interesting thing, I have a program which is for technology, and it's called an upgrade program.
Right.
All my teams, I mean, earlier there would be the skilling that used to happen or trainings. People wouldn't attend it. I mean, this program has been so infectious, rather, that everybody in my teams is making their own, dashboards, connecting the dots and making their own dashboards. And everything is getting into the whole digital way. So that's where it is. And they're proud to say, I don't need anybody else. We'll make our own dashboards and make it happen. Isn't it? I mean, that's what...
Precisely.
That's what mentorship is. And imagine, I mean, we have a program called Manthan on the floor for our blue collar associates. The best part is that, we are talking about product development, new ideas. They will come in from the shop floor. They're not going to come from anywhere, not from the people like us.
True.
So imagine their ideas also come into play. So interestingly, it's about empowering. Mentoring is about, also making the people accountable. With empowerment comes accountability and ownership, for sure.
Yes. So empowerment, yes, that's very critical. And also getting out of the comfort zone and embracing a startup kind of a mentality, Dipali, even while you're working in a large organization, Absolutely. That really has that effect. How do you lead and inspire your team? What is the uniqueness about your behavior that attracts people towards you?
That you should ask them. But I think for me, my passion is infectious. And my speed is infectious, because for me, not a single day is boring. In fact, a couple of days back, there was somebody who was telling me, ma'am, how do you just continue to take the same meeting again and again and not get bored of it? I said, if I wouldn't have taken that meeting again and again and reviewed it, then that whole culture of digitization wouldn't have happened. Because I think for me, it is about that vision. I live and breathe that vision. And that vision is to make Wellspun India the most progressive textile company in the FMCG for textiles of the world. And that's what my goal is, with ESG as a facilitator. So I think that is the hunger, and that just keeps me going, actually.
I'm sure you'll achieve that, Dipali. A final question before we end the first part of this conversation. Your dream is to see a factory run by women, and how are you trying to make this a reality?
So I'll tell you, it's not just about the factory, the organization run by women, technology run by women. And I think that's where, whether it's the STEM, whether it's your manufacturing, whether it's the craft or the communities, I think that's where all my sports women, a global, I mean, I have a program called the Sports Women Program where our para athletes participate and they make us proud. I think it's all about giving that opportunity. So when we talk about a factory, that's one aspect to it. There's technology, there's so many things and elements.
True.
I think the only thing is if this world can become more sensitive and empathetic, and this can happen. And we are working towards that at Wellspun. We have a small unit which is run by women solely for the cut and sew.
Amazing. That's really nice to know, Dipali. Thank you so much for sharing your story, views, and valuable insights. It's always nice to come across a leader who is grounded, and you're definitely not the super boss who orders to sell, sell, and sell till the targets get blurred in the background. Really commendable that you've managed to grow the business, especially during a time when the textile industry has been struggling to survive. I stand immensely inspired through this conversation with you, and I'm sure our viewers find the same. All the best. It has been a pleasure, Dipali, speaking with you on Cutting Chai Stories.
Thank you so much. A pleasure indeed. Thank you.